Good afternoon and welcome to Season 5, Episode 7 of the Leaders Only Show, brought to you by What a Change Mentoring and Tone Drone. I am Samaj and I am joined today by my brother. He's calling in again. Yes, indeed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm here, y'all. Kendall here.
Okay. Today we'll be talking about children, when children go missing in the United States. So please invite your friends to check out our Leaders Only YouTube show. Have a watch party, subscribe to our channel, share it, like it. And if you're catching it on the replay, you can always comment hashtag replay. Like that, hit the bell, and also you can also reach out to us via email at leadersonly22@gmail.com. We are always looking for new topics and things happening in the community in which we could bring light to. Today, we got some interesting stories that are in the news, and I think my brother is going to bring in the first story, so I'll let him bring in the first story.
So in the news, we have teens arrested in a string of robberies. 2 teenage boys have been arrested in connection to a string of robberies in the U Street area of Washington, D.C. One victim died days after he was attacked. That attack was the first in a string of violent assaults and robberies the 2 suspects committed that morning. An hour after the assault on T Street, the teens assaulted multiple people in the 1900 block of 14th Street Northwest and tried to rob them. Minutes after, they robbed someone in the 1800 block of Vermont Avenue Northwest. They then robbed another person in the 900 block of Rhode Island Avenue more than an hour later. Surveillance video helped identify the suspect. You want to go ahead and kick it off with your views, bro?
My views are really simple. I just wish that the parents were around. Wish there were things for these young men to be doing. You always wonder why the youth is out that late. But I'm one that believe in karma. So good, bad, ugly, and different. Karma comes in that way. So I know that they will get, whether it be justice in the legal system or the Most High gives it to them. In these type of situations, I know that peer pressure plays a part. Circumstances of your environment that you're in play a part. So we never act like we are not privy to why our youth are out, doing these type of things. And it still stems back to what we spoke about episodes ago when we were speaking about the fathers in the household providing discipline. A lot of times you see young men, teenagers out at night because mom either has another job, mom or dad ain't in the household, grandmom, they staying with a grandparent, so they're taking advantage. But a string of things like this is just somebody looking to get some quick money. It's the holiday season, and they just looking to get some quick money. They going one after the other, just picking on whomever. Didn't seem like they had any premeditated robbery on a specific person. But I am thankful that the surveillance video is around, and that was just going back to what I said either last week or the week before. A lot of these crimes are going to solve themselves because everybody, especially in the DMV, DC area, DC is the most surveillanced district, city, state in the United States of America. So when you're doing stuff nowadays, you just look up and you're always going to see a camera around, and you're going to see somebody on their phone. So that's my take, man. Just pray for today's youth, but I'm going to keep pushing on the point that we need an enforcer in the household, so a father figure.
Yes, sir. I pretty much feel the same, man. It's short and sweet. Like it's sad, but it's happening, and we really need help inside the household first. So yeah, I pretty much feel the same way.
All right, man. So moving forward to our next story, fighting for her life. Community comes together after picking up truck strikes beloved DC teacher. the Northeast DC community is coming together after a daycare teacher, Irma Bonilla, or Miss Irma, as the students know her, remains in critical condition after being struck by a pickup truck while crossing the street. Bonilla, who teaches at Petite Scholars in Northeast, has been in the intensive care unit since Saturday, and when she was hit by the truck. Bonilla is well guarded for her dedication and commitment to her students. Bonilla was crossing the street near her home when the incident occurred, and it was a school zone and a crosswalk with a stop sign. What I get from that is somebody probably was on their phone. Somebody probably frequents that area and speeds through there often. But above all, misfortune. It's unfortunate that this lady who has given so much to the school and the community, that she was struck by a truck crossing the street at the right time in a crosswalk. Oftentimes, I just speak on just where we're at in today's society, and whether they seen her or not. That's just a reflection of today's world. Everybody be so wrapped up in their own world that they don't even pay attention to what's going on around them. And then when things like this happen, here we go again. We just pray that that there was some type of cameras, or surveillance and some witnesses that were there, because I would hate for this person to get off the hook for hit and run, or bringing this type of pain to somebody around these times of the year where she probably had her mind set on seeing her family, having a good time, enjoying, but above all, she's in intensive care fighting for her life when she's such a light to so many others amongst the community, especially these students. A lot of times, when your favorite teacher or your favorite subject is taken away, or activity, it deters you from wanting to be at school. So I just pray that she has a speedy recovery and that she can get by. It may be smart, to have some type of patrol officer in the area, while school hours are going on. That would be kind of cool. But above all, man, just a speedy recovery. And if you out there and you driving, try to pay more attention, because nobody deserves, to be in critical condition for doing the right thing. How about you?
Basically the same. I just say that I see all the time. People just be moving in a rush, always in a rush, and it just shows the lack of awareness, and people moving at their own pace, trying to speed or however, wherever they got to go, it don't need to be that fast. So to see this lady suffer from somebody else's mistake is I just send my condolences, and hope that she I just send prayers to her up, and just hope that she get a speedy recovery, because I know her students are gonna miss her.
Yes.
But with that being said, man, we bring this news to your attention to make you aware of what's happening and what's going on in your area. Just be cautious, when you out there and traveling on the road. Just be careful, cautious, and play the defense when you're driving, so you can be aware of other people, because you can injure somebody else.
Yes, and that's specifically why the Leaders Only show is important, and why we need more shares and more clicks and more likes, just to bring awareness, because these are the stories that we want to tackle. You know what I mean? We don't want the low-hanging fruit, and we don't want to divide us anymore. So we have to bring light to the situations, and the only way we're going to do that is with one another, besides what the media wants to propagate out to us. Moving forward, we got a break. With our break, we with all that's going on in our city and in this whole country, we want you to continue to stay encouraged. We want you to just do your best, be your best that you can be, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Things that can help with that are eating right, sleeping, reading. We had to add that in there. Don't just meditate and work out. We need to start exercising our mind. Over 54% of adults in America are reading below a 6th grade level, and over 20% are illiterate in itself as adults. So please exercise your mind. With these holidays coming up, there'll be an increase in depression, mental illness, and suicide. So always be mindful of the suicide hotline, and emergency number is 988. So don't hesitate if you're struggling. And if you do struggle with seasonal depression, you got to remember you're a part of the most beautiful family of them all, and that is the human race. And you have a father and a mother, you know what I mean, that is always with you, so you can never be alone. Keep that in mind, because holidays are literally one day, and you do have to survive the rest of the days. So find your family, link up with your family, create your tribe, whatever it has to be done for you to get around people who love you and support you and have your back.
Yes, sir, man. 988. Don't hesitate.
All right. Our next topic. Go ahead.
So we're gonna go ahead and dive into the main thing. Main topic of the day was missing children. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off, bro. Missing children. Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing or is abducted in the United States. While most reports of missing or abducted children are resolved within hours, many involve situations where a child goes missing permanently or for an extended period of time. Some of the key issues surrounding missing and abducted children are. Go ahead, bro. Kick it off.
Family issues, parental arguments, divorce, domestic violence, substance abuse by parents, or a lack of parental supervision, which can lead to runaway children. Runaways report escaping physical abuse in the home. Some escape emotional abuse, and others acknowledge being subject to sexual abuse by a family or household member. Children who run away and become homeless is a serious and pervasive issue. 1 in 7 children between the ages of 10 and 18 will run away from home, and young people between the ages of 12 and 17 are at a greater risk to become homeless. We spoke about that on our first episode, where it's over 3,000 children in the D.C. area are homeless. 75% of runaways are female, and between 6 and 22% of homeless girls are pregnant. Half of all children who run away from home face greater risk of anxiety, depression, suicide, poor health, low self-esteem, and more likely to be forced into prostitution, drug sales, and other activities, illegal activities at that.
Physically and mentally disabled children. In many cases, a child who is missing or who has been abducted may have physical or mental disability, which can make it more difficult to find and return the child. When a child is developmentally disabled, he or she may have difficulty communicating with others about their needs, identity, or home address. This can place the child in a greater degree of danger. These children are susceptible to being abducted, and it may be harder to return them to their parents when they are lost. Physical disabilities can also make it more difficult for missing children to be discovered and returned and provide necessary medical care and treatment.
Yes. Number 3 is family abduction. In some cases, a parent or other family members may take a child without permission, often due to custody disputes. Family abduction poses unique issues for law enforcement, as the family may be unwilling to leave his or her abductor, and other family members may be involved in concealing and aiding the abducting parent.
Non-family abduction. Children can be abducted by strangers, which is considered a serious crime. Non-family abduction includes kidnapping committed by acquaintances and strangers. Acquaintances and
we are.
Acquaintances abductions make up 27% of all children abductions. Acquaintances abductions also have the highest number of female and teenage victims, and is often associated with other crimes such as sexual and physical assault. Abductions committed by strangers typically occur in outdoor locations. Stranger abduction is most likely to involve a firearm when compared to the other types of abduction, and is associated with sexual assault, female victims, and robbery and male victims.
Yes, and child trafficking refers to the exploitation of boys and girls, primarily who are forced through labor and sexual exploitation. Children are sometimes sold by a family member or an acquaintance, sometimes lured by false promises or of education and a better life. Trafficked and exploited children are held in slave-like conditions without enough food, shelter, or clothing, and sometimes severely abused and cut off from all contact with their families. We're going to dive into each topic real quick, because we just wanted to give you what they were. But starting off with just family issues, as we've seen, parental arguments, domestic violence, divorce, substance abuse by parents oftentimes leads to substance abuse by children, and then can even lead to overdose, being strung out. This is a really big topic. I often think about the family issues when I think about our community, because outside of the immediate family, that word family is kind of fickle in our community, and it leaves a lot of the youth, who a lot of people say in the family that it's all about the babies and my baby, and I care about the kids and the next generation. But a lot of times they're neglect. You know what I mean? They're neglect to the next generation and their children, because they are so caught up in whatever the problem that they're having leads to a lot of these family issues. And emotional abuse, that comes a lot from what they say to their child, to what they are actually doing to them. It may not be physically. There's a lot of mental things that lead down and stem to a child's emotions being broken, and a lot of mind games are played with adults or family members to the youth, because I always say it, a lot of adults are of age, but they are not adults. They're not grown, so they're still that little kid raising kids, dealing with kids, trying to lead kids. And it's like the blind leading the blind. People without emotional intelligence and who are not emotionally mature are literally the same age as whomever they're talking to, or just a little bit younger in an adolescent state. But they're still more so peers in the mind, and physically in the body, they're just an adult dealing with the youth. So that's how I feel about the family issues. What about you?
Pretty much, we used to hear, we hear all the time, how parents, when a child is acting out or doing something that's annoying to them or irritating them, or, they're not getting the attention they need, we always hear, the cursing, the loud snapbacks, so it's just like you said, it don't have to be physical, those type of things right there, that trigger a child and be, cause them in their mind to be tired of it too. It's not fair to be calling outside your name as a child either. So that's really one of the ways I really feel about that situation, because it don't always have to be physical. A lot of mental things happen by name calling and things of that nature.
Yeah, that verbal abuse is something serious, man. I thought it was very interesting when it spoke about the physically and mentally disabled. I didn't think about that, because a lot of times when you think about mentally or especially physically disabled, you feel as though they got a caregiver and they always will have somebody around them. And a lot of times when we think about physical disabilities, we think only about, autism, Down syndrome and stuff like that. But now, dealing with our father being disabled, it could just be, they may have a short arm or longer than the other one. They can't run or walk, or, what I mean? Those are disabilities. And that made a lot of sense when they referred to, a child being lost. And it's hard, to return them, because they may have a mental or physical issue, a disability, and you can't communicate with them, or they'll be standing out somewhere by themselves. And once everybody goes, they're not mentally there enough to pick up on what's going on around them. And I thought that was dope. And then not dope in terms of it being cool, but dope in terms of I didn't think about that. That was like an aha moment for me. And with the abduction, it is very much so easier to abduct a child. It's easier to abduct an adult that has, you know, a disability, but it's a no-brainer, you know, with the children. So in that respect, I think that, you know, when you're dealing with a child, number one, there should always be some type of adults around. But when you're dealing with a disabled child, we have to keep those caregivers, you know, close. Those doctors, those nurses, you know, it would be cool to create, if they don't already have it, some type of beep system, be it a necklace, be it, you know, some type of bracelet or something, just something that keeps you there, just like they got to track my phone. I need to track my child. You know what I mean? They might need to come out with the Track Your Child app. If you do, it's my idea and it's on camera. So leaders only, we want our bread. But yeah, man, that's how I feel about that. Welcome on in, everybody. I seen Lisa, I seen Keita, Allie, my baby's here. Welcome on in, everybody. Go ahead, bro.
So we're gonna hit you with some key points to remember. They have this thing called the Amber Alert System. It represents partnership between broadcasters, cell service providers, state transportation services, and local police, in which warning messages are quickly and widely disseminated in order to help find an abducted child. AMBER stands for American Missing Broadcast Emergency Response, and was created to honor Amber. Let me see if I can pronounce this right. Hagerman.
Hagerman. Yep.
9-year-old girl who was kidnapped and murdered in Arlington, Texas. Over 800 children have been rescued because of Amber Alerts, and these messages have provided to be a highly effective tool in finding missing children and protecting children from abduction.
Yes, most missing children are found safe. While the thought of a missing child is alarming, the majority of children who go missing are found within a short period of time.
Reporting is crucial. If you suspect a child is missing, it's vital to report it to the authorities immediately.
Yes. Prevention strategies. Parents can help prevent children from going missing by maintaining an open communication, addressing concerns early, and teaching children about safety measures. If you have an open line of communication, and the better the relationship you have with your children, whereas though they feel comfortable and safe to come to you about anything, you have a greater chance of having a stronghold over your child. Even when you're not around, you will play back in their mind. If you cannot communicate with your kid, if you can't give them the opportunity to have a voice, if you can't discipline them without putting your hands on them, it's going to be a hard time, because all of these things encourage them to get away. Just think about it. If you're somewhere when you're getting attacked and beat on and punched and verbally abused, would you want to stay? You have to create environments that are safe. And when I say safe, it doesn't mean that just somebody's not, harming them physically or breaking in. We have to create safe spaces for one another. You may have a hard day, but you don't never think about your child's hard day. A child got to stay in a child's place, but they could have been bullied. They could have came across a topic that they never heard. They could have seen something that they never seen. But all these things are in direct lineage with their feelings and emotions. They're all connected. So parents, please, 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 please. And when I say parents, I'm not talking to mothers only. I'm talking to fathers too. It takes two to be parents. You have to come together. The missing children thing is very big. And I wanted to touch on this and not go too deep. But another thing about our missing children, when I say our, I mean copper color indigenous, they're pure. Feel me when I say this. Our children are pure, right? And then they have some of the strongest, chemicals in their body. We'll say that when we talk about melanin and carbon and these things, right? And there's people in this world who can't get that, right? So you have people who want to stay younger, and they creating companies and products off of our children's blood. I want y'all to know this, and you could do it and look it up yourself. I won't go too far because I don't want to get banned from YouTube, but I do want you to know that all our children aren't missing just because they're lost or somebody's just abducting them and putting them in trafficking. A lot of our children are being harnessed and harvested on, you know what I mean? So they can be utilized for their organs, utilized for their blood. You know, we've seen stories. We actually covered one at one point in time with a young lady in Chicago, and the thing that happened with the freezer and stuff like that, and they still haven't found her, and then when they found her, her organs were gone. So please keep in mind, man, just because you don't have children, if they look like you, talk like you, if they in your community, they're your children. You know what I mean? And the more, go ahead.
Let me piggyback on this, because I know we hit the parents pretty hard, but also to the kids and teenagers, it's cool to have a curfew.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to be in the house at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a prevention. Time for you to redirect every night. Time for you to reboost. Get ready for the next day. Create some structure. Sometimes you need somebody to talk to, but then this hotline is not only for adults. If you need somebody to talk to, reach out. Let them know your issues that's going on inside of the house that might prevent you. That might push you out to be outside your curfew.
Yes.
And things of that nature. But also open up your mouth, speak. But also it's cool to have respect, manners, rules, curfews, chores. Because we don't have this stuff no more in this new generation, and it's making it a lack of work out of these teens. Even though they're creative, they're definitely creative. Don't get it twisted. They're very creative and smart. But it's also cool to get some structure, you know?
As I always say, man, children, if you want to look at how well we're doing as adults, take a look at the children in your community. If you want to know how well we're doing as adults in this country, take a look at the youth in our country, and that gives you your answer. So if you feel as though, man, these children of the day are bad, that's probably because the examples that they're following are bad. You know what I mean? It's time to literally go to that window. Nobody tell you can't have fun, but a young man, a teenage man, does not need to see a grown man going out chasing ass every week. If that's what you're doing, that's what they're going to do, because you know your responsibilities. You know your priorities. So if you are telling me to do right, but you're showing me that you're willing to do wrong, more times than not, I'm going to do wrong, because children look up to adults as superheroes. You don't have to be a celebrity for a child to look up to you. They look up to whoever's in their circumference, in their environment, who's older than them. And they're just trying to find examples of what to do. So if you ain't that's the reason why they gonna be ain't. You know what I mean? If our fathers and our mothers and our grandfathers and our uncles and our aunts, if they didn't amount to nothing, if we don't put our foot down to become that generation to raise these babies, it's just gonna keep going. It's a cycle. It keeps going. So we're just gonna have babies that grow up, and they're not going to be too good at anything when it comes to emotional intelligence, when it comes to morals, ethics, values, the things my brother was saying. If it comes to the things that don't take money, which are the things that are priceless, those are the things that we keep lacking on in our gumbo that we keep making of society. We keep forgetting the things that don't take no money. We got too much money in our pot right now. Everybody's chasing the bag. We got too many bag chasers. We don't have enough healers. We don't have enough mothers. We don't have enough fathers. We don't have enough indigenous love. You can't even name 5 couples in your community. I'm talking about your whole community that are happy, married, in love, together, longer than 10 years, and they enjoy working together to build something. Find it. If you do, please send us that way, because this is what the Leaders Only show is for. And if you are a single parent, especially mothers out there, and you have young men and children, I want you to realize that we have mental health coach. I'm a mental health coach. My brother's a physical therapist. Ali's a physical therapist. My business partner, Coach High, he's a licensed, you know what I mean? Him and his wife, they have a licensed practice. So each one teach one. You not getting help for your son and he's out of control, but then you allowing him to go to the penal system is your fault. You know what I mean? There are avenues out here and people who really want to dedicate their life to that. I'll be one of them. I want to dedicate my life to creating better young men. It's not my job to create better young women, but they will get it, and I'm here to respect them and show young men how to respect them. But we got enough women's groups. We got enough examples of women in this world. Y'all outnumber us. So it's time for y'all to be examples. But for these young brothers who y'all constantly say are bad and out here drilling and all that, it's time for the men to become men and take the responsibility. If not, stop having sex, yo. I'm going to keep saying it because we keep having that temporary feeling and that emotion of something, but it carries such a serious consequence that we all got to deal with. As long as I live in your community, just because you liked her, you created a baby, I got to deal with your son. I got to deal with your daughter and whoever they hanging around. We just seen it, going to the top. 3, 4 people, incidents back to back to back, getting robbed by teenagers. What happens that day when somebody has a gun on them and they conceal the carry and they blow your kid head off because they want to play grown folk games? You know what I'm saying? We have to be better examples. And, coming in closing, this is the Leaders Only digital show and podcast. We are live streamed every Sunday at 2 p.m. Today we are here in Arlington. It's such a beautiful place. We appreciate you for joining us for Season 5, Episode 7. We hope you enjoyed the show. We pray that you continue to share it, like it, comment, catch it on the replay, put the hashtag replay. We're brought to you by What a Change Mentoring, Inc. and Tone Drone TV. I am Samaj.
And I'm Kendall.
And please, 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 please continue to support the Leaders Only show. Reach out to us anytime at leadersonly22@gmail.com. We love to hear from you and get any topics that you feel like we should discuss or any events that are going on, even if it's not in your community, but you would like to see us cover that event. Please send it on over. As always, stay healthy, protect yourself, stay hydrated, and love on yourself, man, so you can project that into the world. Oh yeah, we got some youth entrepreneur shows coming up. So if you know any youth entrepreneurs, especially in the DMV area, please send it over. We want to continue now to just continue to start talking to our youth. With the age, man, anywhere from a legible conversation. So I'm saying 7, 8 and up. You know what I mean? We don't want them here to be shy or spooked by us, but we would love to shine some light on our youth and continue to do so. So please do that. Before getting out of here, shout out to the Green Run Stallions, man. That redemption tasted so sweet. What a game Friday night. We went to double overtime. But as I told some of the coaches, sometimes those wins are just to see who ain't quit on you. It was tough. It was adverse. But the thing about it, you keep rolling, and you get to find out who not going to quit on you when things get tough. I suggest you to test your friends like that. See who quit on you when it's a little bit of adversity. See who quits on you when you let them know that you're not with that. See who quit on you when you say no once after you said yes 1,000 times. It speaks volumes. That's why you should stay closer to the Most High and not people, and then love on your people when you got the right people, man. Have a great week, y'all. Happy holidays if that's what you do. We don't do that, but if that's what you do, happy holidays, man.
Happy holidays. Yes, sir. Love, peace.
Peace and blessings, y'all.